The title of this podcast is You Make It Easy. This is something that I have heard a lot over the last 3 years at Mayo Clinic, and it humbles me every single time. I've had the good fortune of having a lot of incredible opportunities that very few people in my role, in my position across the Mayo Clinic enterprise have had the opportunity to experience. I don't know why that is for them. I just know what I think is helping me or is making it possible for me to have these opportunities. And the thing that people keep saying is to me is, Keith, you make it easy. So I'll give you a couple examples of some things that have happened. When I first came over to Mayo Clinic, I was a volunteer. And everything that task that has before me, I just say yes to. No task is too big, no task is too small. I just want to serve. I want to make a contribution. And that began as a volunteer, whether it was working out in the Arizona summers and, helping with military courses and setting up tarps and classes outdoors, whatever the case was, I was happy to do it. And so whenever an opportunity came up or somebody advocated for me when I was a volunteer, I would thank them and they would always say, Keith, you make it easy. Whenever I had an idea that I wanted to run with, I would try to do as much research and ask people that knew more than I did for feedback and for guidance. And then I would do the work of whatever was necessary to help realize that goal and to serve that objective. And along the way, I would need help. And they would say to me, Keith, you make it easy. Most recently, I guess in the last few years, I worked at Mayo Clinic as a volunteer once my supplemental contract work ended due to COVID. And so I wasn't getting paid, but I just wanted to serve. And when the time came around for me to apply for a grant with the support of other people, and they had to advocate for me to have a temporary position, when I thanked them for advocating on my behalf and sponsoring me, they kept saying, Keith, you make it easy. Fast forward when I needed support from leadership to get a well-being intervention implemented and to have it be supported by leadership, the leaders who presented it on my behalf and talked to other decision makers about it. I said thank you to them. And they kept saying, Keith, no problem. You make it easy. Recently, I was eager to learn how to do research in a clinical setting. So my good friend, John DeCuna, who is a full professor, I asked him to take me under his wing and to show me the way. And so he invited me to this very experienced research group full of experienced researchers in the clinical setting. And in this case is cardiothoracic surgery. I knew nothing about that, but they invited me in with open arms, and I worked and I studied, and I'm still studying. And they gave me feedback. And when I was working on needing some support for something else, and I thanked them for the guidance, they said, Keith, you're welcome. You make it easy to help you. And these things just keep coming up over and over and over again, these opportunities. And at the end of each one of these opportunities, I'm thanking people for supporting me, for advocating for me. And they keep saying, Keith, you make it easy. No matter what the favor is, they continue to say, you make it easy. And what I'm clear about is 7 years ago, I had never heard anyone say that about me. No matter how hard I worked, no matter how much discipline I showed, no matter how ambitious I was, I never heard anyone say that. Not in relationships, not in friendships, not at work. No one ever told me, Keith, you make it easy to be a friend to you, to help you, to teach you, to guide you, to sponsor you. No one has ever said that. So what's the difference? The difference is I didn't work on anything outside. I just worked on the inside. I worked on me. Because before that, I think what happened was people, I forced people to work on me because I wasn't doing it on myself. I would always show up and complaining. So they had to make room and space and accommodations to deal with my complaining before we could get to work. I would come in and see what was wrong with things. So they had to negotiate all of this defensiveness and explanations and justifications before we could get down to business. Like this happened over and over and over again, that people had to deal with 1.0 before we could even have a relationship, before we could even do the task at hand. And now I work on myself so other people don't have to work around my judgments, my resistance, my tendency to close when someone doesn't like my idea or gives me feedback. They don't have to take extra effort to deal with me because I'm dealing with me so others don't have to. And I love hearing people say, you make it easy, not as a compliment to me, because that only serves my ego. But what it does, it gives me confirmation that the work that I'm doing on myself is a benefit to others, which is what I want. I want it to be so easy to be around me because you don't have to worry about me getting an attitude, me reacting as opposed to responding or behaving from a place of inner peace. You don't have to worry about that because I am doing the work. I want to continue to make it easy. So I ask you, in your relationships, are you making it easy for people to be with you? This applies to your friendships, your families, and your connection with your significant other. In the workplace, are you making it easy to be in meetings with you when somebody doesn't meet your expectations or somebody gives you feedback about your idea, regardless of how they give you the feedback? Whatever their tone is, how they behave is their path, but you continue to make it easy. Now, some people will say, or the ego will say, well, you can't let people walk over you. I don't think anybody would accuse me of allowing people to walk over me because there's nothing to walk over. If people want to behave that way, that's their path. I'm always choosing the path of inner peace. And what I found is there are rare or few occasions in which I have to defend myself because there's nothing to defend. So I encourage you to work on yourself so you make it easy, not just for you. I mean, that's the great benefit because you get to experience more peace, but for others. And in doing so, you'll experience a lot more joy and you'll have deeper, richer relationships. If you think that that may not be the case, that other people will benefit from it, just ask people that know you. Do you make it easy to be with you? Do you make it easy to support you? Ask your ex, your significant other, your children, all of your coworkers and colleagues, even the ones that you said you've had difficulty with before. Ask them, do you make it easy? And I think let that answer, kind of guide you what action you take next. So I want to thank everyone who's contributed to me. And I wanted to thank you for helping me work on me so that I make it easy.